Welcome back, my fellow game developers, to a brand new video. And in this video we are going to create a patrolling mushroom. So now when we maximize on play and run the game, you'll notice that if we walk around, we find this mushroom starts chasing us, and if we get away, he just starts walking around from one point to the next. You feel as if he has a predetermined path that he is going to be walking in. So as you can see, he walks from one point to the next. He keeps looking at us with those scary eyes, and if we get close, he starts chasing us and shooting with his little red balls. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so time for the last enemy. And we have the Goblin Wanderer, we have the Cowardly Flying Eye, and now time to introduce the Patrolling Mushroom. Okay, so what does the Patrolling Mushroom do? Well, the Patrolling Mushroom actually has a couple of points that he walks to and from. So we will add a couple of points, so he moves from one point to the next, 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 and so on. And as he does this, if the player gets close, then we start chasing him. So, and if the player gets in the range of shooting without getting in the range of the chase, we also start shooting him. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we are going to add another part. So this is for the enemies that patrol. And in here, first of all, we're going to obviously, like always, create a boolean and say that it should patrol. Patrol. I don't know why I forgot where the P is on the keyboard. Anyways, then we continue on with a serialized field, which is the transform, and it's an array of patrol points. There we go. And finally, we are going to create a variable to keep track of the current patrol point. So current patrol point, or points, or no, it's just a point because it's a private integer. Okay, great. Now if we scroll down in here, where we are chasing, where we are wandering, where we are running away, we also need to check if we are patrolling. So I'm going to issue it to you as a challenge, and your challenge is to point in the right direction. So first of all, check if we should be patrolling. That's pretty easy. Then you'll need to determine the direction the enemy should be moving in. So it's the same way as we did actually in the chasing enemy. So you'll need to get the position of the point and then remove from it or subtract from it the position of the actual enemy. But then how are you going to know when you got to this point? Well, you'll need to keep track of the distance between the enemy and the point he's going towards. And if he's close, so around, if he's less than 0.2 f, increase the patrol point so the enemy continues walking. So I hope you understand what I meant in here by increase the patrol point. We are going to start off at a certain patrol point, and then we are going to keep increasing, setting a new patrol point using the current patrol point that we've created. If you feel that the last one where we increase the point is a bit too hard for you, then no worries, at least try to do the first three. I know the last one is a bit hard, but if you feel up to it, go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. This was one of the harder challenges, I know, I admit. So in here we're going to create if we should be patrolling. Where is it? Then we are going to set the direction to move in, and it's going to be equal to patrol points on the current patrol point dot position minus the transform of the current enemy dot position. And then we are going to go ahead and create a, or you know what, let's just keep it up here, the vector3 dot distance, and it's the distance between the transform dot position and the patrol point dot position. Copy that, paste it in here. So now we have the distance, and if that distance is less than, so we're, oh, so we need to first of all, so we'll call this the vector 3. No, actually, sorry, it's a float, and the distance enemy point is equal to the vector 3 distance. So if the distance enemy point is less than 0.2f, so it's very close, we don't want to have it exactly 0, we want to start moving to the next point. As soon as we get to the first one, we are going to increase the current patrol point by 1, and then we're going to check if we're at the last current patrol point, or I mean if the current patrol point is greater than the patrol points dot length, then we are going to set the current patrol point back to 0. So, you know, when we have only a single line under the if condition, then we can just put it like that, save that. So what's happening in here? We check, should we patrol? Yes, sure. We get the direction, which is the patrol point dot position minus transform. So we, just like we chase the player, we keep track of the distance. When that distance is less than 0.2f, we increase the patrol point. That means that we again start the update all the way back here. This increases by 1. We get a new patrol point. The transform dot position is removed. We get the distance. We check, is it? And then when we get to the last one, we start going back to the first one. So we save that, and let's go set up everything. So I'm going to go in, where is it? In here. Wait for the script to compile, and this guy is a patroller. So should patrol. Now let's go ahead and create a couple of points. Now this is a matter of debate. What I like to do is just have the patrol points in here. So right click, create. And why is it a debate point? Well, maybe because you want to have for each level its own patrol points. So for example, you could create it inside of the room. So you have the door, the enemies, and the patrol points, or you can just add them on the actual patrolling enemy, and then every single time you put him in a new level, you just set the patrol points yourself. That's up to you. I'm going to call this the patrol points, and then I'm going to create an empty game object in here. This will be the first patrol point. So patrol point 0. And why am I adding these brackets? Well, because now when I duplicate this one, I have the one immediately inside of these. So this is a really cool trick. Set it in here, set the second one here, third one here, this one here, this one here, this one here, and there you go. I think that's enough points for today. So there we go. We start off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then back at the start. And now I go to the patrolling enemy. I will lock him down. I will make sure to, oh no, before I apply the changes, let me just set everything in the patrol points, save that, apply the changes, run the game. And I don't want to maximize because I want to see I actually want to look here. So run the game. Let's see how that looks. So there you go. He starts walking and he keeps walking. Great. So not doing anything very smart. That's because I think we should keep track of the current point. So I'll make this public just for a couple of seconds so we know what is happening. So let's see, run the game. And we're at 0. He goes to, he should be going to the 0, which is, where is it? I can see it. Oh, so there is a problem. And what is the problem, you might be asking? Well, the obvious problem, there's your patrol point, right? If I move the enemy, so this is something very clumsy for me. The The patrol point moves with the enemy. Why? Because the enemy is now a parent of the patrol points. So my smart behind is going to put it inside of the rooms. Yep, open prefabs. Yeah, we don't want it anymore. Okay, so now you are going to make me do a lot of things, right? So right click, prefab, unpack completely. Now we can move this to the rooms, and now we can, oh wait a second, the patrolling, okay, so we unpacked patrolling points, set them for the room. Sorry for that, guys, that was a huge mistake. I think that mistake should not be forgiven. Seriously, that should not be forgiven. So now we are going to, where is it, the patrolling enemy? If you can see right here, if we double click on him, the prefab has this. So what we'll do is we are going to delete the patrolling mushroom and then create our own again. So there we go. So now when we run the game, we should see a much better patrolling system. There we go. You can see that he goes to the first point. As soon as he gets there, there we go. He goes to the next point. Where are the patrol points? The second point, the third point. Now to this point, and look, as soon as he gets there, he starts going to the last point. He shoots at us. We are in the way. He tries pushing us, but we are stuck on the whatever it is, so I'll move away. Obviously this is not the smartest enemy in the world, so he will be hitting into things. You need to make sure to put the patrol points in ways that he will not encounter any solid objects or obstacles. So as you can see, he walks around, he shoots at us, and he walks to his appropriate patrol point. Now obviously you noticed here something, that these spikes are rendering over the enemy, which is something that we don't want. This is why all the time I was setting every game object, like the health, like the spikes, on the player layer. That was very wrong. We should set them on a level object. It's pretty easy to fix later on, but just so you know, this is not something that we want. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's go back in here. And one thing we want to do is, just like we had for the wandering enemy, we want to also be chasing the player. So in here, and if we're not chasing, and if not is chasing, we patrol, and in here we chase the player. So should chase player, what are we selecting? Sorry, so patrolling mushroom, should chase player, and okay, let's also, what was the yellow one? Oh, so the yellow one was to keep chasing the player. So red, yellow, and yep, let's see. Let's save that. Let's run the game. Let's try to have him chase us. So let's make the game window bigger. So we walk around, we stand next to him. There we go. You can see he starts chasing us and shooting the little balls at us. For some reason, they are not shooting correctly, I feel. Something is definitely wrong with the balls. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, of course, there is something definitely wrong with the balls. So even though when we get out of range, he keeps patrolling, then when we are close, he shoots at us. So obviously there is a problem with the fire position. I think it's hitting the head of the enemy. It's interacting with it. I'm not sure what the problem is, but for now, this is something that we will need to address. I did this extremely fast, so I don't know, maybe we do have a problem in here, but the main thing here is that we wanted to create the patrolling mechanics. We did that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun creating different types of enemies. Now our game is really taking shape. As you can see, we have the core mechanics down. We have multiple enemies that move in different ways, and obviously games like these that are so amazing and fun need something called a main menu, a pause menu, and transitions between them. So that's what we might be doing in the next section. With that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to commit your changes, and I'll see you in the next one.